Gator Dave, how are we doing, sir?
We are good, Mike. How you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing great. I am doing great. It is week 13. Thank y'all for watching and tuning in with us this week. If you haven't already, please give us a like and subscribe. Go ahead and drop a comment as well. Let us know that you're watching. If you're listening on the podcast, make sure to give us that 5-star rating. Give us a like. Also, wherever you get your podcast from. Gator Dave, it was a little bit rough last week for us here on the show.
Ooh,
I'm gonna throw up that recap, and I'm gonna throw it up really briefly.
yeah.
Yeah,
It,
that's one to forget for sure.
it was not good. I mean, I felt good going in. Maybe I shouldn't have, but I felt pretty
I
good with my picks
I
last
think
week,
I
and
think anybody that watched the show last week knows exactly why you felt good going into it.
well, you know how that is. It might have been a little too. I've been too much Mad Hatter there last week on the show for sure, but didn't affect my picks. Picks were done prior to the Mad Hatter, so
That's true.
so
That's true.
it's all good. So one reminder, everybody, we are Bet Utopia, all things for your sports betting needs. Live shows on Wednesday evenings at 8 p.m. More time for those wagers for those Thursday and Friday night games. Come see us, like, subscribe, like Mike said, tell your friends about us. That's cool. Hey, so Mike, there's a couple of topics I know we talked about earlier that we want to hit early, and the two I wanted to start with were the SEC championship. Just throw it out there just a minute, and then talk about those CFB rankings right now. But CFB championship is a little crazy. I watched a podcast today that lasted 30 minutes, and all they did was talk about the what ifs, the what hows of these four teams. You know, the Texas A&M, the Alabama, the Georgia, and the Ole Miss are the four teams that could make it into the SEC championship game. And oh my God, head explosion thinking about all the things. Now, if Texas A&M and Alabama beat Texas and Auburn, it's all said and done. Those two guys go in. But if any of that does not happen, oh, Katie, bar the door. It's about crazy as it can get. Now, Ole Miss does need some help as they're kind of that fourth team out. They need some things to happen, like Bama to lose or A&M to lose for them to stand a chance. And then Georgia's just sitting back going, whatever. And I'm not real sure if Georgia and Ole Miss would rather just roll into the playoff and not worry about a championship game. But those teams that got the byes last year were the ones that lost, so there's a little hex involved there. So rather interesting scenario with those four teams. We'll see how it goes. Just crazy ass tiebreakers and so on and so forth. So that last weekend's just going to be nutso for the SEC. So I thought I'd throw that one out there. Um, the second topic is what you wanted to talk about, and talk about those CFB rankings. And you know the biggest thing I've heard, and all week long, was, well, really, because everybody anticipated where this thing was going to go, and that is, you know, the fact that Notre Dame is sitting where they are after your team beating them. Notre Dame sitting at number 9, and Miami back at 13, even though you won. And the schedule Notre Dame plays, they don't have to worry about championship, blah, 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 blah. But it's a little jaded, in my opinion. That's the biggest thing that I take from this. Obviously, there's a lot that can happen, but right now that's the big scuttlebutt out there that I'm hearing on all the pods right now, that everybody's going, you've got to be kidding me. Like I said, I believe I said last week, or I talked to some folks about it. I don't think Notre Dame, since they don't have to go to a championship game, I think they lose more than one game. I think they shouldn't even be able to make it into the playoff, in my opinion, at this point with 12. So just because they think they're so good and they don't have to worry about a championship game and can play who they want. So that's my 2 cents, Mike. I know you've got some things you want to touch on there in terms of how crazy this thing can be, right?
Yeah, I mean the playoffs, the way that the committee is sort of setting this up is they've sort of picked their teams already. If you can kind of read between the lines a little bit. I will say the things that intrigue me the most are a couple of teams that are just on the outside of that top 12. You mentioned Miami at 13, Texas at 17, Michigan at 18. You just mentioned a game that Texas A&M still has on their plate next week, and that's going to Austin to take on the Longhorns. I just looked at that spread. Longhorns are currently a 2.5 point underdog at home next week to Texas A&M. Little fun fact here about Texas A&M though, they haven't played any of those teams that are actually in contention for the playoffs right now. They've actually played the bottom half of the SEC conference for every single one of their conference games. So if you look at it overall schedule-wise, yes, they do have that nice win against Notre Dame, who's sitting at 9 now, just like Miami did. But that was a long time ago, and they haven't really played anybody since. So I think next week that could be a game that definitely shakes things up a little bit going into that SEC championship that you talked about. Michigan as well, sitting at 18. You know, they have Ohio State next week. If they somehow pull out a win over the unanimous number one Ohio State that's been consistent number one, you know, since probably week 2, week 3 now, do they open up the conversation for them to creep in potentially as an at-birth bid? Do they jump that many spaces? Probably not. Texas is probably the more likely one because of the SEC bias, if you want to call it that. I think it's 6 of the top 12 right now are projected to be SEC schools. We'll see how that sticks out. I don't think it will. But you got BYU, Utah. They're likely to play each other in the Big 12 championship. They're sitting at 11 and 12, so one of those teams will be knocked out. ACC, you're looking at Miami, maybe Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's probably going to play in the ACC championship game. Miami is not. They're going to miss it. So really, they need a lot of help to get in because they're going to have to actually get up to about the 10th seed in order to get one of those at-large bids, because those last 2 go to the Group of 5 conference championship winner, as well as another conference championship winner, whoever's the higher ranked. So Miami easily could get snubbed. ACC as a whole could get snubbed. Georgia Tech could get snubbed, even winning the ACC championship. If they lose next week against the Dogs in Atlanta that we've talked about, you know, numerous times throughout the year, they lose that game, go into the ACC championship, win it, they might not make it in, believe it or not. You've got James Madison that's creeping down there towards the bottom. You got Tulane that's snuck in there as a higher ranked team that, you know, if they were to win their conference, they could go in with this new playoff rule. It's interesting. It's interesting to say the least. And also the committee that they have this year for the playoff committee is also sketchy. You got numerous guys that are current athletic directors at programs also sitting on these seats. It's interesting. It's interesting.
And the head guy, if I'm not mistaken, Mike, had to take a leave of absence from the committee and work and blah, blah, blah. After the crap that went on last week, all of a sudden it's like, oh, I need to step down or whatever and move on. So it's all pretty crazy. And hey, if Vanderbilt still has a chance, you know, if some things happen, if a couple of teams lose, if Alabama loses, you know, and Vanderbilt wins out, they beat Tennessee, they win this week. I mean, it's still a possibility that Vanderbilt could end up, you know, in this whole big dance. So we'll see. We'll definitely see how it goes. It's still interesting. I've still got a bet hanging out there. I'm hoping Utah. So if they can get in, I'm in good shape. So that was an early pick. So it's crazy, man. We'll see how things go. It's gonna be a great couple of weeks for sure. So let's roll into the games, Mike. So we're gonna start in the ACC, and we're gonna talk FSU at North Carolina State. Florida State is favored in this one by 4.5. Over under is 61.5. So Florida State's 5-5. They need one more win. They got NC State this week, and then they're going to have my Gators next week, in the week after that in the Swamp. You know, they want to make a bowl. Oh, I do want to say, hey, shout out to my lovely wife, Nirvana, and Tony Botos is on. Nice to see you, sir. as well as Joe Johnson. So don't want to forget those guys in the chat. So let's keep rolling here. So NC State 5-5 as well. They won a bowl game as well. So big fight to see what happens. This game is, Mike, if I'm not mistaken, on Friday night, Friday freak night, right? Like you talk about. FSU has won two of the last three games against Wake Forest, Virginia Tech. After that big 4-game skid that they were on, Tommy Castellanos, 2,300 yards, throwing at 60%. And, one of the things, I got a friend at work that talks about Castellano and how he throws. It's like almost like a high school quarterback, because he is shorter. We know that. I'm not going to make fun of the guy, but he doesn't have that arm strength, and he puts a lot of air under it and just kind of flings it up there. And thus the reason why he's not quite at 60%, but 12 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He's run for 404. They got a couple of good running backs there in Cromot and Singleton. FSU, the number 7 offense in the nation. FSU's rushing defense at 26, passing defense is at number 40. Seminoles are 5-5 against the spread. However, away, Mike, they are 0-3 against the spread. NC State comes in, lost 3 of the last 4, but that was against Notre Dame, ranked. Pittsburgh, are they ranked? I think they are. Miami, ranked.
Pittsburgh
They are.
They were.
Was when they played. And they did beat Georgia Tech at their place in a shootout. So, a relatively competitive schedule for sure. They're 4-1 at home. You warned me about that game a few weeks ago. This game's at 8 p.m. on Friday, freak night. We got Bailey coming in, 2,500, 69%, 19-9, and your boy Hollywood Smothers, 823 yards, 6.5 a carry, and 6 TDs. NC State's rushing defense, 45th, passing defense, 134. So throw it up in the air, Castellanos. He might have something to throw out there. Wolfpack is 4-6 against the spread, 3-2 at home, but only 1-4 as a dog. Mike, I'm going to step back and take your pick on this one, even though I know you might go another way, but I'm going to go with Friday Freak Night, playing at North Carolina State. Give me North Carolina State, and I'll take those 4.5 points. Maybe Florida State wins by 3, but I don't think they win by 7. What you got?
I'm with you. I like NC State plus the points. It's sketchy. I will say it's a little bit sketchy based off of how NC State played last week. We talked about that matchup against Miami. I was on NC State in the first half, and they never had it at all. Miami scored the first touchdown and never let up. Had a couple pick sixes, a couple turnovers. CJ Bailey never got anything going. He looked like he was trying to do a little bit too much. And they made him pay for it, 41-7. Could have been a shutout. They got a garbage time touchdown at the end against the Twos. It was complete domination. So I really look for NC State to bounce back in this one. NC State is 4-1 at home this year. When they're playing on the road, they're just 1-4. On the flip side, Florida State is 5-2 at home and 0-3 on the road. They have not won a road game at all this year. And their road games haven't been against good opponents, and they haven't been good. Their best was against Clemson. They lost by 2 touchdowns. They also lost at Stanford by a touchdown. And then what sort of started their whole whirlpool tailspin was actually another Friday night ACC matchup on the road against Virginia, where they lost by 8. So they've been in this spot before. You mentioned NC State. We talked about them also early in the season when they had that Friday night upset victory outright. I think they do it again, Dave. I think they do it again. Give me the plus 4.5. I will say Florida State, it seems like Mike Norvell, believe it or not, has not lost that locker room. I saw some interviews this past week. They look like they're actually playing for him. They want to play. They took some accountability, saying that, it's on them as players. They just didn't play the way that they needed to. I thought that was very interesting. We'll see if it saves his job at the end of the year. Fingers crossed. Um,
True that.
but I think NC State gets this one. Also, a little bit of a look ahead spot here for Florida State. They got the Gators next week. Big matchup for them to end the year. They don't really have too much to look forward to other than that left in the season. So I'm with you. I like the Wolfpack.
Awesome. All right, let's stay in the ACC, Mike. We got Louisville Cardinals at SMU. SMU is favored in this one, 2.5. Over/under is 52.5. Both teams come into the game 7-3, quite respectable. SMU looking to stay alive in the ACC hunt. They're going to need some help, but they're still alive. Louisville's kind of not quite going to make it. Louisville's lost to the last games against California, Clemson last weekend, and both those games were at home, Mike. So now they got to head on the road at SMU. Not an easy place to play. Miller Moss has been a little bit shaky as of late. He's got 2,300 yards on the year, throwing at 64%. Louisville doesn't have Isaac Brown. He's out, but Kajon Brown did quite well in the last game. 135 yards against Clemson wasn't too shabby. So he's a quite respectable running back there for Louisville.
He's a beast. He's a tank. I watched that. He breaks every first tackle. He's like Derrick Henry.
135.
It's ridiculous.
Against Clemson. Yeah. So he's a stud. Louisville's rushing defense ranked 22nd, passing 26. So they've got a good D. Cards are 3-7, Mike, against the spread, and all of their wins are away. So Mustangs 4-6 against the spread, 2-4 at home, not much better. SMU's won 5 of 6 of their last games. However, wins over Clemson, wins over Miami. That loss as of late to Wake Forest. Kevin Jennings, 2,800 yards, doing quite well this year. 65%, 21-9, looking good. Running back Harden's got 613, averaging 4.6 and 6 touchdowns. SMU run defense, 14 in the nation. Pass defense, they don't look good back there. So 133rd out of 136. So Moss could try to light him up. He's had some trouble as of late, but he's going to have a chance back there this week. I think personally at this point where Louisville is in the stage of things and SMU's run right now, I feel like that SMU can take care of business at home in this one and continue their winning ways. So give me SMU in the money line, Mike.
I was avoiding this game like it was the plague, Dave, and you just had to put it on there.
I like him SMU, man.
Yeah, but the line is weird. Okay, the line is weird. SMU -2.5. To me, it should be a little bit higher than that. This is senior day for SMU. SMU has everything in front of them still potentially to play for. They're sitting at 5-1 in the conference, 7-3. On the flip side, Louisville 7-3, same record, but just 4-3 in conference. So they're done. They're done in the ACC. Right now, at best, they're playing for a better bowl game. And then they got Kentucky next week as well. So classic rival. I like SMU in this spot. I'm gonna go with my gut when I first was looking at it before I threw it in the garbage and dumped it off a cliff. You somehow brought it back. It's here. Give me SMU money line, but it's.
You feel like you're falling into a trap, don't you, Mike?
Oh yeah.
It's definitely that trap.
It feels like a complacency trap for SMU.
Yeah,
if I'm being honest, it feels
12. But
it'll be an 11 o'clock kickoff local time, senior day. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. That one. You're gonna be clenched. It's gonna be a little tight. Gonna be a little tight for that 3 hours. That's all I'm saying.
We're gonna be on the road for that game, Mike. We'll be driving from Panama City Beach over to the swamp at noon. All right. Next game, my team. We're going to talk my team. We got the Southern Miss Golden Eagles at South Alabama. Southern Miss favored by 2.5 in this one. Over under is 54.5. Golden Eagles are 7-3 this year. South Alabama is the opposite, 3-7. Southern Miss finally lost the game after winning 5 in a row. They lost to Texas State. Shit happens, right? There was little defense in that game, and 3 turnovers by the Golden Eagles sunk them against Texas State, even though it was a pretty commanding win. But 3 turnovers is going to hurt you every time. Good news is they get their quarterback back because they did not have him in that game. They played the backup. So Braylon Braxton is back. That's why I see you smiling, Mike. The starting quarterback back. He's got 2187, 67%, 19 touchdowns and 5 interceptions and run for 220. Pittman, the running back, at 548 and 7 touchdowns. So, but we look at the defenses, but we have to think this is one of those group of 5 schools. So the defense isn't usually that great. So Mississippi State's rushing defense, 103, passing defense, 73rd. They're 5-4-1 against the spread and 4-2-1 as the favorite. The Jaguars of South Alabama come into the game 2-2 in their last 4 wins against UL Monroe and Georgia State. Very weak teams. Jags quarterback Bishop Davenport, he's got 1,800 yards, 67%, 12-5, rush for 281, pretty respectable. They got a running back, Mike, Kentrell Bullock, 814, 10 TDs. He's a beast out there. But at the same time, their defense sucks. Rushing defense at 111, pass defense, however, at 19th. South Alabama 4-6 against the spread and only 1-4 at home. Mike, with our man Braylon Braxton back, QB's back. Jags only 1 home win. Man, I am going the Golden Eagles easy money line here, sir. What you say?
I say that I knew you were going to go with that side as soon as I saw you pick this game on the slate. That's what I'm going to say. But I'm also going to say it's extremely sketchy. Just like the game we just talked about. This is, again, what are you doing to me? All right.
This is not sketchy, Mike. Come on, man.
It's a 1.5 point spread. South Alabama is 3-7. You mentioned it. They're 1-4 at home. Southern Miss is 7-3, potentially playing in their conference championship. Okay. And if you watched that game last week against Texas State, I am 100% scared. Because this spread, you would think that they know it's probably going to be the backup again based off of this spread. And that's what is sketchy. The quarterback, you mentioned him, Braylon Braxton, he tried to go last week. He was in warm-ups. He had a brace on his leg. They wouldn't let him go. He tried to go. Is he going to play against the 3-7 South Alabama Jaguars?
2 games left. Of course he is.
Or is he going to play next week against 6-4 Troy? With maybe a little bit more on the line in terms of conference championships and berths. I tend to lean towards the Troy. It's sketchy. I'm going to go with Southern Miss because there's no way that I'm backing 3-7 South Alabama at all this year. But if you look up the word sketchy in the dictionary, all right, this game is smack dab right next to it. Southern Miss, give me on the money line. -1.5 is crazy. That's all I'm saying.
Well, it's -1.5 because they look like shit against last week. That's why it's -1. And the quarterback
started at
and
2.5.
The quarterback didn't play.
It opened at 2.5 and it's dropped to 1.5.
And the quarterback didn't play. They look like shit.
Well, yeah, but it's it's a massive difference when you talk about the quarterback didn't play. I mean, his statistics compared to Braxton are ridiculous. Yeah. This guy, Liddy, his name is Landry Liddy.
Laundry lady.
It's a
Yeah.
lot of L's and a lot of Y's in this guy's name. Okay, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions on the year. He's played in 5 games now. Last week he had 267, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. The game before that he played against Arkansas State, went 4 for 6, 128, 1 touchdown, 1 pick after Braxton got hurt.
Confidence, Mike.
Again,
Confidence in my Golden Eagles.
I'm gonna go with the Golden Eagles.
They have not let us down all year,
They've
baby.
100% let us down. They let me down last week. They 100% have let us down.
That one time, man, shit happens, and it was the backup quarterback thing, no doubt.
That's true.
All right,
That's
and 3
true.
touchdowns.
But I do like the coach.
And 3 turnovers. Excuse me.
I like the majority of that team. So I'm with you, Dave. Let's do it. It's sketchy.
All right. Okay, here's another one. You probably hate this one too, but I do.
Like this I hate every game that you pick. Fun fact.
I love this
Fun
one.
fact.
I love this one, Mike. So
Miami Mike, fun fact of the night. All these games suck.
Big 12. Yes, this game. Oh, money. All right, we got TCU at Houston. Yeah, and I know Mike's going, damn, it's another freak game. Houston's favored by 1.5. Over and under is 55.5. So TCU 6-4, Houston 8-2. TCU's lost 3 of the last 5 to K-State, Iowa State, BYU last weekend. 44-13, got stomped. Now they got to go play at Houston. So TCU quarterback Hoover, killing it. Almost 3,000 yards. He's at 2,900, 64%, 23 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Running back Barnes has 443, 3 TDs. TCU rush defense, the run defense is 34th, pass defense 110. 110. Remember that with Mr. Wegman. Horned Frogs are 4-5-1 against the spread, and not too good. Houston, different story. They won 4 of the last 5 against Arizona, Arizona State, UCF. Wegman looks much improved as of late. I think he's getting with the flow. 2,100 yards, 65%, 18 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and run for 409 and 9. The Dean, their running back, looking good, 725, 4.6 a carry. We look at defenses. The rush defense, 44th, pass defense, 33rd, look pretty good. The Cougars are 7-3 against the spread, 4-2 at home. I think Wegman's going to throw it all over these TCU DBs. Give me Houston and the money line in a Gator Dave lock. Another scary one, right, Mike?
Well, I mean, it is, but not really. It just feels scary. It feels scary, Dave. I'm with you. I'm going to take Houston minus the 1.5, so I'm going to take them on the money line. Look, TCU, they lost all credibility for me last week. Another team that let me down against BYU. Absolutely got hosed. I am not, little bit of foreshadowing here. I am not a fan of BYU, okay? And you are. You are, it's clear, I get it. What I am a fan of is Houston's defense, and I think that's going to make the difference in this one. You mentioned Josh Hoover. He has had a pretty impressive year up until the last 3 games. Last 3 games, not so much. He's had 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions over those 3 games. The offense for TCU, just 17.5 points per game. The most they scored in those 3 games were 23 against West Virginia. Okay? A little bit of struggle going on. Houston on the flip side, they've got the better defense. They are at home. They are now ranked. They're sitting at 8-2. They have everything in front of them in terms of their conference championship. They are 5-2 in the conference, so they are still very much alive in the Big 12. TCU is just 2-3 on the road this year compared to 4-1 when playing at home. Give me Houston in this one. I'm with you. Side note also, last year Houston won against TCU 30-19. at TCU. So a little bit of history there. But I like Houston as well.
Mike, you talked about the Houston defense. You know who the defensive coordinator is for Houston, Mike? That would be Austin Armstrong. That is our reject from the Florida Gators. So we sent him
well,
packing.
He's doing a great job.
He's doing his
a
thing.
Great job.
He's doing his thing over there.
I mentioned TCU struggles on offense. Their defense has also not been great, giving up 27. Well, I mean, relatively speaking, it's been average. They're giving up 27 points per game in their last 3, compared to that 17.5 on offense. They're getting outscored,
and it's on the back
10
end.
points.
It's on the back end.
Yeah.
Pass defense is what's ripped them. So yeah.
But typically speaking, I mean, if you're at 27 points a game on defense, your offense should be able to get there a few times. You know what I mean? And I think that's been the struggle for TCU as of late, is their offense just hasn't been able to get over that line.
Yep. All right. Next game. It's my game, Mike. And, I put this thing on there and I flip-flopped around and I'm like, well, I don't know, woulda, shoulda put it on there, but I had to talk about my Gators, right? So we got the Tennessee Vols coming down to the Swamp, and I'll be heading over there to watch my team. They're favored by 4. 57.5 is over under. Just to update the coaching search right now, still strong on the Lane Kiffin side. We should know something after the Egg Bowl officially on whether Lane Kiffin's our coach or not, and we will be winner chicken dinner that one. Right now I'd give it Ole Miss. I give Ole Miss 5%. I'll give LSU 10%, and I'll give Gators 85% in terms of chances of Mr. Lane Kiffin. So we'll see there, my friend. We shall. The T-shirts have already been printed, Mike, just so you know. Inside info. All right. Here we go. The Vols 7-3, ranked 23rd in the land, coming down to my Gators, who are the opposite. 3 wins, 7 losses, no coach, and no chance at a bowl game. Vols are 2-2 in their last 2 games, losing to Bama, losing to Oklahoma, beating Kentucky, and beating New Mexico State. Joey Aguilar at almost 3,000 yards, a little short, 66%, 22 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. The running back tandem of Bishop and Thomas, 770 and 458 on the yards. Tennessee's defense down a bit. Rushing defense at 43rd, passing defense at 115. Vols, however, have the number 2 offense in the nation. When we look at against the spread, Mike, however, the Vols are 4-6 against the spread. Not too good. And they're 1-2 away against the spread. Florida lost 4 of their last 5, but Mike, they lost to number 5 Texas A&M, number 4 Georgia, number 7 Ole Miss, and laid an egg at Kentucky. Our quarterback, Mr. Lagway, I think he maybe needs glasses. He leads the SEC in interceptions with 13 and only 12 TDs. Our standout running back, Jaden Ball, looking good, 808, 4.9 a carry and 6 TDs, and 175 yards as a pass catcher. Just so you know, if you read and are up on things, you might have seen Bayou Billy, Sling Blade Billy, was over there in Athens this week talking to Kirby, and he's probably shopping our players, more than likely Jaden Ball, the top on the list, trying to get his boy over there to Georgia like he has in the past. So we'll see how all that goes, but kind of interesting tidbit of information. We will be out our top 3 receivers in Eugene Wilson, Dallas Wilson, and more than likely Vernell Brown. Hopefully he can play, but doubtful. Florida's rushing defense ranked 49th, passing defense 73rd. The Gators, they're 4-6 against the spread, as are Tennessee. So we kind of come into this thing even when it talks about the spread, and we're 2-2 at home. Interesting stat, Mike. Vols are giving up an average of 35 points a game in their SEC games. 35. The Gators are giving up 26 points. Gators have not been able to score more than 24 points against an SEC opponent. I don't see the offense hitting more than about 28. Vols average 35. That's 53. Might give me the under 57.5 in this game, and we'll see how it goes. I will, however, be cheering my team no matter what.
I'll be
What do you
cheering
think?
them with you. I'll be cheering them with you, Dave. Give me the Gators plus the 4. I don't know if they'll win this one outright, but I think they give Tennessee a little bit of a scare. Tennessee might be looking ahead of a little bit, looking at that Vanderbilt spot, maybe overlooking this Florida team. It's a night game in the swamp. All right, that's a tough environment to play.
It
Aguilar has
is.
had his struggles when he goes into a tough environment. You mentioned kind of the difference between these two
1
teams.
and 2.
Florida, terrible on the road. They know all about it. 0-5 on the road, but they are 3-1 at home. Gator Dave. Tennessee on the flip side, 4-2 at home, 2-1 on the road. Florida's defense has been a bit of a roller coaster this year, but when it's good, it is really good.
And
And
usually in the
I
swamp.
think and I think they are going to come to play in this one. They have nothing to lose. Typically a team that's sitting at 3-7, you would say, all right, they're done. They're not playing for a bowl anymore. Obviously, they're out of conference championship contention, playoff championship contention. They're done. Wrap it up. They're going into the transfer portal, all that good stuff. The issue is the Gators still haven't hired anybody. So if these players want to keep their eligibility, they can't hit that transfer portal yet. They can't go anywhere. So they're somewhat kind of forced to play in this one. And it's also a little bit of an audition at the same time. A lot of rumors right now. They're starting to pick up steam. I will admit there is some steam to the Lane Kiffin rumors. He's going to LSU. Long story short, let me save you the drama. But it's there's going to be some guys that are trying to audition a little bit to either keep a spot or audition them going somewhere else once a hire is actually made. This is still a big game. This is a rivalry game. These teams know each other very well. They do not like each other at all. Also, Urban Meyer. Did you see he's going to be in
He will be
attendance?
honored at the game. 20 years. Yes.
Urban
So,
Meyer will be in attendance.
and
So
it's
you,
sold out, as all
but I,
games have. 3-7 sold out in the swamp.
but I gotta
And
say,
Tony's trying to tell me we're going to lose by 17.
as
Holy
a
shit.
as a Miami fan though, how great would it be if you are getting blown out by 17 at halftime, and Urban Myers goes out there to a half-empty stadium
No.
with that was riddled with booze before he stepped onto that field, and he's just out there upset,
Stop it,
muggy,
Mike. You just
muggy
said you're
environment.
taking my Gators, man.
Ah,
So
it's
you just said you're
sticky.
taking the Gators.
It's
Stop
sticky.
it.
That stadium sucks to
Stop it.
walk in. It's just
Stop it.
mm.
Stop it.
Could get rough. Could get rough for the Gators. But yeah, I am gonna go with the Gators because usually when you don't take them, also, that's when you take them. So give me the Gators plus the 4 points at home. Night game in the swamp.
All right. And I got to talk Tony offline on that one. I'll take the 17 all day long. All right, next game. My other team, my other likable favorite team that Mike talked about, we got BYU at Cincinnati. BYU's favored by 2.5, over under 54.5. So BYU number 12 in the land, second in the Big 12 right now after getting beat by Texas Tech. But they're 9-1. Cincinnati is 7-3. The underappreciated BYU Cougars, they did lose to Texas Tech, came back and beat the crap out of TCU. Wins over Iowa State and Utah, Mike. Our young Bear Cub, Bear Bachmeyer, 2,177 yards, 63%. Running back LJ Martin back strong, 912 yards, 5.6 a carry and 6 TDs. And Bachmeyer, he's run for 479 as a young Bear Cub and 10 TDs. Rushing defense, 44th, passing defense, 33. BYU known for that. Cougars are 7-3 against the spread, 5-2 as the favorite, Mike. Damn it, man. Bearcats have lost 2 games, the last 2 games, against Utah, who BYU beat, and to Arizona last weekend after going on their big 7-game tear. Sorsby, 22-18. He's kind of slacked off a bit. If you look at his numbers, he was killing it way ahead of everybody for a while. Now he's kind of backed off some. Still 22 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, rushed for 483. Tyree Walker, running back, 652, 6 yards of carry and 4 TDs. We look at the defense. Rushing defense is 86. Pass defense, 86 as well. So not really good, which makes me feel good about BYU. Bearcats 6-4 against the spread, and only 3-3 at home against the spread, Mike. Not too good. I think it's going to be too much defense there at BYU and too much of the Bear Cub, the Bear Bachmeyer showing his stuff. Give me BYU and the money line.
Give me Cincinnati plus 2.5. I'm telling you right now.
Love it.
Give me the head-to-head. BYU is not the same when they're not playing at home. They're not playing at home in this one. It's senior day for Cincinnati. Brendan Sorsby's had a great year this year. Last week, he had a bad game, lost them that game at home against Arizona. I think it was a little bit of a look ahead to this one. Unfortunately, it caught him by surprise. Now they got BYU in there. You mentioned Bachmeyer at quarterback. What number does he wear? Like 40-something?
43.
Yeah,
43.
It's gross. All right?
43.
Take his ass back to long snapper where he belongs. All right? He is no quarterback of mine. I have no faith in that guy. Absolutely not. And this is 100% atrocious for you to put this on here. We've talked about Cincinnati multiple times this year, BYU multiple times. It never gets any prettier. It's always ugly. It's always gross. Cincinnati plus a 2.5 at home. I think they find a way to get this one done. Leave BYU shocked and upset. Cincinnati also still potentially has a shot at the Big 12 championship. They're sitting at 5-2. BYU, for example, they are sitting at that top slot right now with Texas Tech at 6-1. So there's still a little bit of chance for some movement there. Utah is also still in play. I like Cincy. I'm probably going to regret it. Give me Cincy.
All I care about is Utah making it. All right, next. Let's go into your games, Mike. Man, you picked up where I left off. You know, you got Dan the Man game on starting off. We got Hawaii at UNLV. UNLV favored by 3. This would be, when I looked at the numbers, I would categorize this one as one of those gross games because I feel strongly about this one. So
that's why it's not gross. That's exactly why it's not gross.
Okay. Well then, hopefully we're on it. 64.5 is the over/under. Friday night game, Friday night freak night, right? Hawaii is 7-3, having a nice year, while UNLV's 8-2. The Rainbow Warriors have won 4 of the last 5. 3 of those games, Mike, of those 4 wins were on the road against Air Force, Colorado State, and a tough San Diego State team. Last weekend, they beat quite handily by 32 points. This game, serious Mountain West considerations, obviously, for the winner making into the the title game if they have one. I sure they do. So quarterback Aliraju has 2380, 66%, 18 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Running back Sims rushed for 487 and 3 TDs. Hawaii's defense, respectable, 52nd for the Mountain West. They are 7-3 against the spread and 2-2 away. Running Rebs have won 3 of 5 with losses to Boise and New Mexico. Beat Utah State in overtime last week, which is a good game. Colorado State, they beat Air Force by 3. UNLV defense, Mike, 128. 128. Hawaii 52. UNLV's 5-5 against the spread, 1-4 at home against the spread. What? I think Hawaii's the better team here, better defense, plays well on the road. Not to mention they're the hotter team right now. Mike, I will take Hawaii and the money line and give me another Gator Dave lock.
See, and that's why, Dave, it's not a sketchy game because you feel comfortable with it, right?
Well, I did the other ones too.
And I'm with you. I feel comfortable with Hawaii. Okay?
I'm glad
Hawaii
you do,
plus 2.5 on the road. I love this Hawaii team. I've loved them since week 1 when they had that upset at home and the game ended at 2 a.m. Eastern time. I love this Hawaii team. I think they play for each other. I'm all about what they're bringing to the table. And this UNLV team, I've said it over and over this year. We called it against New Mexico when they lost outright. Utah State didn't get me the outright last week. That was upsetting. I digress. I do not trust this UNLV team. I think they are an upset waiting to happen. I think they are a little bit too full of themselves. Hawaii's going to go in there with everything in front of them, chip on their shoulder. Both teams sitting at 4-2 right now in the conference. You mentioned Mountain West and what they do. They do have a conference championship game. They don't have a location for it, I don't believe. I think they just go to the higher seeding. Yeah, the higher seeding's home field. But San Diego State right now is number 1. They're 5-1. And then you have 5 other teams tied for 4-2. So you were talking about chaos in the SEC. A lot of chaos potentially in the Mountain West. Fresno State's 4-2. They're 7-3 on the year. Boise State's 4-2. They're 6-4 on the year. New Mexico, you just mentioned, they're 4-2, 7-3 on the year. UNLV 4-2, 8-2 on the year. Hawaii 4-2, 7-3 on the year. So completely wide open for most of these teams. That has everything to play as well in this. I like Hawaii. I like their heart. I think that's the difference in this UNLV team and the Hawaii team. UNLV brought in a lot of transfers. They sort of bought in with
Mullen's first year. That's what he had to do, you know.
Well, I mean, yes and no. I mean, do you have to clean house and bring in 80 guys to completely wipe out a program and start over? Maybe. We've seen it not really work out too well for Dion in Colorado. So maybe Mullen's the freak accident, but his defense, you mentioned, has been absolutely garbage. He's been completely bailed out by his offense, refs, and a little bit of late game luck. And that's why I think they're fool's gold. Hawaii plus 2.5 on the road. I think they win that one outright.
I totally agree, Mike. That's why, thought this was a freak game. But
well,
all
Mullen,
good. I love it.
Also, you look at that success, right? 8-2. UNLV, he did not go to UNLV to stay at UNLV and become the king of Las Vegas. He's using that as a stepping stone to go elsewhere. There's a lot of SEC schools with job openings right now. Arkansas, Auburn.
I don't think he ends up in the SEC. I don't think he ends up in the SEC.
I think I could see Big 12 as well. I mean, he's going somewhere. He's going somewhere.
Yeah. He's the freaking offensive guru, man. If he had a decent damn defensive coordinator, some stud, it'd be a team. I mean, that was the best offensive mind we've had. Well, I mean, hell, you go back to Urban. Hell, Mullen was there, with Urban. So it's like,
Well,
but
yeah, but
that's all he could do.
you weren't a
He,
Mullen fan either. He doesn't recruit, and that's another
no, he
problem.
does not, and that's the
So
problem. And you don't have to necessarily recruit in some of these lower leagues. Obviously,
well, right. They're gonna
you
come
can
to you. They're gonna fall into your
pay to
lap.
play.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Well, it's most
You
of
need
these
to check.
schools. It's most of these schools that are because the transfer portal's open. They got guys that they could go get that are better, and they're going to tell their guys, "Hey, sorry, bud, you might want to start looking at some other options because you're not going to
Yep,
play here." So then
yep.
they go. You're exactly right. They leave a Power Four school. They look for other options, and they find themselves at UNLV with a proven offensive coach who's proven to put guys in the league, and that's why you have a stud offense and not so much on the other side. So
Yep. Yep. All right. Cool deal. Hey, you need to say hello. Linda's in the chat there, Mike. All
hello,
right.
Linda. Shout
Hello,
out to Linda.
Linda. All right. Next game. We're doing we squeezed in Washington State, James Madison, right, Mike? Is that what we
Yep,
got?
that's
All
what we're
right. We
squeezing in
got
here.
Washington State at James Madison. James Madison favored by 14 in this one. Over under is 42.5. Man, when I saw this one, I was like, yeah, I see why Mike put this one here. Wazoo is 5-5. James Madison fighting for a playoff spot. They are looking to be that non-power 5 team in the playoffs. They're 9-1. Wazoo just wants to get in the bowl, right? They're 5-5. They need a win. Washington State's lost 3 of 5. However, they lost to Ole Miss, ranked, Virginia, ranked, but they only lost by 3 to Ole Miss, 2 to Virginia. Oregon State by 3. They beat Toledo and Louisiana Tech. Cougars are 6-4 against the spread, 3-2 away. James Madison has only lost 1 game. That was to Louisville early in the year by 14. They haven't played any Power Four schools, but they're 7-3 against the spread, and they're 4-1 at home. I'm going to go with the old flying across the country here, Mike, because Wazoo's got to fly all the way across the country, playing a 1 p.m. game, 2,552 miles, Mike. 2552. I've got the exact from school to school. James Madison is better offensively, defensively. They are in the top 15 in the nation in both offense and defense. Granted, it's not Power 5, but neither is freaking Wazoo. Winning by an average of 20.9 points a game. This was an easy one, Mike. Give me them Dukes to cover 14 points and come out on top.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like James Madison minus the points here in this one as well. You mentioned it. They got everything in front of them, including potentially the college football playoff, but they are unranked right now at 9-1. And the reason being, you mentioned it, they haven't played anybody this year. The only team that they've played this year that was Power 5 was Louisville. They lost by 2 touchdowns against that team. And we've sort of seen where Louisville was and where they've gone now. So that's why they are out of the top 25 currently, and you got teams like Tulane sitting at 24. This is a big game for James Madison. If they win this one, this gives them a little bit more credibility, but they got to win in significant fashion, I think, here. They're the much better team. You look at Washington State and how they've lost. When they lose, it's not great. Their quarterbacks really struggle to keep the ball, to keep possession of the ball. They have issues with turnovers, issues with interceptions, issues with sacks. James Madison has an absolute horse on the offensive side of the football. He is a dog. They are going to do what they want to in this one. Washington State's defense is a little bit, it's hit or miss. That's the only thing that I'll say about this one. 2 touchdowns is a lot in
It
any
is.
football game. In any
It is.
football game.
It is.
But I
It
think I'm
scares
with.
me a little.
But James Madison, you mentioned it. They have everything in front of them still. This is a bigger game. Washington State has to travel across country. They're already They're probably thinking about where they're hitting in the transfer portal. Their season's a wrap. I like it. Give me James Madison, the Dukes at home, minus the 14 here, Gator Dave.
All right, all right. All right, let's hit your next game, Mike. As your games grew on me as I looked at them. So next game we've got is Arizona State, favored by 7 at Colorado. Over under 48.5. Arizona State comes in ranked 25th in the land. And 7-3. Colorado disappointing 3-7. Arizona State's won 3 of the last 5 games. Losses at Utah and Houston, respectable teams in that Big 12 and fighting for to be in the playoff. Wins against Texas Tech, which no one else can say, right? Iowa State, and barely beat West Virginia last weekend, who's been a thorn in the side for a number of teams, and we'll talk about others in a minute because there's another team we talk about. So Sun Devils, they're only 4-5-1 against the spread and 2-2 away, which is a little scary. Colorado's lost 5 of 6. A win against Iowa State is their lone shining star they have for the year. They did lose to West Virginia 2 weeks ago and got just hammered by Houston and Utah, which the games against ASU were close. The Buffs are 4-6 against the spread, 2-6 as an underdog. Their defense is not good. Sun Devils offense ranked 58th, defense ranked 46th. I don't think this one's going to be close. It's just not going to happen. So I'm going ASU, Mike, and take those 7 points to cover here. So don't think Colorado stands a chance, my friend. What do you think?
It is so interesting to me that is the side that you went with, Dave, because are you remembering who their quarterback is currently for old Arizona State?
Yep.
It's your buddy. It's your number one guy, Jeff Sims.
No, dude, did I miss that?
Oh no, did you miss that? Jeff
Did I
Sims,
miss that?
Sam Leavitt is out for the season. He's talking about not coming back to Arizona State at all. That he's probably doubtful to even return to Arizona State.
There's always one that gets by me, Mike.
Oh, when I saw in your text that you took them, I was very shocked. I was very surprised that you went with old Jeff Sims and the Arizona State.
Damn it, man. Damn it.
I am going to go with Colorado. I'll still give you the opportunity if you want.
I do not. I will not back down.
All right.
Won't.
I love that. I love
down.
that.
We don't
stand 10 toes,
down.
Dave.
Gators don't back down, baby.
Okay. All right. And we see where they're at. So give me Colorado plus the 7 points. I think they find a way to get it going here against this Arizona State team. Arizona State is now ranked again. They're coming in at 25. Maybe feeling themselves a little bit too much out there. Give me Colorado. They really don't have too much to play for right now, but Dion is kind of playing for his job. The AD gave him the green light, said that he's not on the hot seat, but the AD is also stepping down at the end of this academic year, so it's not really going to be his call. He's going to be an advisor. He said Dion's not going anywhere. We'll see. Dion said that he wants to stay. He's bringing in some decent recruits. Julian Lewis, the quarterback, he's starting to get it going a little bit. He's starting to get a little bit more comfortable. I think that's also a big stepping stone here. Colorado at home, night game. I believe it's senior day for them too. Dion's going to make that a point to go out and play well. I hope. Give me the Buffaloes plus the 7 points here, Dave.
All right, I love it.
Real quick, shout out to Scott, Matt, and Will out in the mountains. They're doing a little bit of elk hunting, and they're coming out to us from the mountains of Colorado.
Wow. Country
What's
roads.
up, boys? How's it going? Keep us Keep us in the loop. What's going on? Any luck out there? Any luck? We got three games left here though, Dave, and then we got
has he
podcasts.
spotted anything? So, we'll do a side bet. Arizona State's going to take care of business. All right, next game.
Okay.
Pittsburgh at Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is favored by 2.5 in this one, over under 61.5. This is a big game for the ACC. Pitt's 22nd in the land. That's not from the college football playoff. That's because I did this before the playoff numbers. They're not in the top 25 in the playoff. They are 7-3. Georgia Tech. I got 16th in that one. They're 16th in the playoff picture. 9-1. Both fighting for a chance in the ACC title game. So Pitt broke its 5-game winning streak last weekend as they got their ass handed to them by Notre Dame, much to our chagrin. The young quarterback kind of gave shit away big time. Fumbles, interceptions.
Did not give him a chance from the very beginning.
Oh, my God.
I was just give Pittsburgh a chance in that game.
Gifted Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Prior to that, they beat all the ACC teams that they played. However, when I looked at the schedule, Mike, they played all the teams that didn't have a winning record. So this quarterback, Mason Henschel, 1673, 62%, 12 touchdowns, 6 TDs, run for 150 and a TD. They got 3 running backs, Turner, Reed, Goff, all looking pretty good. Pitt's rushing defense ranked 3rd in the land. So good chance they might be able to hold that Georgia Tech defense and force our boy to throw the ball. Passing defense, not that good, 90th. The Panthers are 7-3 against the spread, 1-2 as an underdog. I didn't consult with my friend Tyler Hoskin, who I know we're not supposed to talk last names on here, but my friend Tyler, and ask him his thoughts on this game before I made the pick. But we'll keep going. We know that Pitt has a good defense, but they're going up against the number 1 in the nation in total offense, Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's only lost to North Carolina State at North Carolina State at night. That you picked that game and told me about that, and I lost. Wins over everyone else. The last 2 games have been on the road, so it's good to be back here in the ATL. It's a night game. Should help. Home cooking. Tech's rushing defense ranked 96th. Pass defense 103. That's where Tech's Achilles heel, the defense. Yellow Jackets are 6-4 against the spread, and they are 4-1 at home, Mike. Man, I might be going with the heart here, Mike, and looking forward to that game next Friday night. But I'm going with the Rambling Wreck and the money line, Mike.
It's a good pick, Dave. It's a good pick. I'm doing the same thing. This is one that you do not overthink. Okay, night game in Atlanta. I'm going to tell you right now, I've seen Georgia Tech fans begging in these forum chats, begging for a night game all year long. The ACC is not giving it to them. ESPN is not giving it to them. And they are finally getting their home night game. They've been stuck with 12 p.m. kickoffs all year long. Okay,
that's horseshit.
It is going to be a sellout. It is senior day. Georgia Tech is coming to play in this one. And you mentioned their issues on defense. Yes, I get that. Pittsburgh's offense sucks. They haven't been able to run the football all year long. Desmond Reed has had issues with injuries, and when he's been able to play, he has not been able to get anything going for them on the ground.
278.
Quarterback, he's had his ups and downs. He's still a freshman. He's going to be in a rocking environment Saturday night in Atlanta. I just don't see how Haynes King and Brett Key lose this one. I think they go ahead and get this done, move on to that Georgia matchup next week. They might start off a little bit slow, out of the gate. A lot of emotions that's going to be going into that with senior day and that place being a sellout, rocking at night. So they might start off a little bit slow. Look for them to get it right second half and put away Pitt. I like Georgia Tech on the money line. I'm with you.
Awesome.
Big
Awesome.
matchup next week. Big matchup
That's
against the
and that
Dogs.
and that that game we going on when I'm there watching. I'll have to scoreboard watch that one, so I want to get to see that one. So, all right, your next game, Mike. I didn't like this one, Mike. We have Michigan, favored by 2 touchdowns at Maryland.
Anthony's gonna like this one.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. Yeah, he should chime in if he hasn't departed. Um, so we got Michigan, 2 touchdown favorite at Maryland, over under 46.5. Michigan, number 18 on the college football playoff poll, 8-2 on the year, while Maryland is a paltry 4-6. The coach got the old pat on the back. We're going to take you through the end of the year. You're staying with us. You're our man this week. So no worries for the coach there. So Michigan's only lost to Oklahoma and USC, both away games, and we're playing away. Close win at Northwestern last week, Mike. But they turned the ball over. If you saw that game, 5 times. We were texting back and forth as I was saying that Michigan didn't look too hot in that game. Turned the ball over 5 damn times. That was horse crap. Michigan's defense, however, ranked pretty good for 17th in the land. So something to think about when I make my prediction here. Wolverines are 3-7 against the spread and 1-4 away against the spread. Terps have lost 6 in a row. Mike, the Terps have averaged 13 points a game in their last 4 games. Okay. And they're playing the number 17th ranked defense, and it's Michigan. So my thought is maybe they score 10. Okay. Maryland's 5-5 against spread, 3-3 at home. Their defense, Maryland's defense, 87th, which means Michigan should be able to score. They've averaged 25 a game in their last 4 games. Mike, I think this score is going to be around 30-10 at most. A typical, damn, Tony's not on here. A typical Big Ten snooze fest. So, Mike, give me the under 46.5 in this one. Feel pretty good about that call. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I kind of like your underplay, to be honest with you. It sounds pretty good. I may change to the under. I'm going to stick with my guns with this one. I'm going to go Maryland plus the 14 points. I think they're going to come to play for Mike Locksley. You mentioned the head coach there at Maryland, probably on his way out. Um, but Michigan's got the game next week against Ohio State. That is the biggest game on their schedule, no doubt about it. I think this one's a bit of a look ahead for Michigan. They stumbled last week against Northwestern on the road. You mentioned their struggles on the road in general this year. There's something fishy with this. I think Maryland's going to keep this one close. Michigan is probably going to win this one outright, no doubt about it. But I think Maryland can keep it within the 2 scores. So I'm going to go with Maryland plus the 14. But I do love your under 46.5. I think that's also a great play. I may end up switching to that one. I'll stick to my guns, but I like that under a lot.
Yeah, I feel good about that one. I really do. I do. All right, but I also feel that it's going to be tough for Michigan to muster much anything. So, all right, next game. So, my lovely wife asked me. She says, "Dave, you think you guys will talk about Georgia on the pod?" And I said, "I don't know, hon. We'll probably. I might talk a little bit about Georgia, but I don't think we'll talk about the game." And then lo and behold, Mike selects the Charlotte at Georgia game. So we're going to talk about that
Ask
one.
and you shall receive. That's what
I
that is, Dave.
receive. Yeah, my lovely wife receives what we're going to do here. So we have Charlotte at Georgia, 43 and a half. Over under is 52 and a half. So, Mike, Charlotte rocking it, Mike. They're 1-9. Okay. And they're playing the number 4. Yes, number 4. 9-1 Georgia Bulldogs. Okay. And just so you know, Mike, Charlotte is ranked 134 out of 136. That is a bit of a cellar dweller. Let's see. Charlotte's only win, Mike, is against Monmouth. Mike, what's a Monmouth? Monmouth. And that was 42. Go ahead.
That's a college. It's a unit.
It's a college. I didn't know. And they only won by 7, and that was early in the year. They haven't played a single ranked team. If we look at the last 3 games, lost to Temple by 35, lost to North Texas by 34, lost to East Carolina by 26, and a close one against UTSA by 21. And now they're going to play the number 4 team in the land. And by the way, Mike, they have the worst defense in the land, giving up 475 yards per game. When Kirby scheduled this one, man, the guy's a soothsayer, isn't he? He scheduled this one, I just get a freaking gimme out there to try the boys out, blah, blah, blah. Whew. Charlotte is 3-7 against the spread. Now, Georgia's only 5-5 against the spread, but we know how they roll. So the big question, Mike, is what would Kirby do? What is Kirby going to do? So here's a stat. Georgia Bulldogs scoring margin against non-Power 5 teams in the last 5 years. Okay? Which is what we have here. 40.6 points. The spread's 43.5. 40.6 points. Okay? They don't get there. All right. In the last 2 years, it has gone over 43.5, which is our spread here. One time last year against Tennessee Tech by 45. Mike, I don't think Kirby's going to give it all. And my lovely wife, which hopefully she's still there, she's up on the dogs. She's all over the chats when it comes to the dogs. And she says all the folks are talking about Kirby resting the team. So I'm in agreement here. So my play, Mike, is give me the dogs to cover 24.5 in the first half and give it to the backups in half number 2. What say you, sir?
I love that shout out, Dave. And you know what? I was gonna go back to the well with Charlotte in the first half plus the 24.5 points. But they are so damn bad. They are so damn bad.
It's bad.
I genuinely I do think Georgia is gonna start off slow. But I think you could have a little something here. They could be up 31-0 at the half. All of a sudden, all the starters are now benched because they need to rest them going into Georgia Tech, going into the SEC championship, going into the playoffs. This is not a game that you want to get anybody injured in. You want to get in, get out. You're not going to get any brownie points for beating this team by 50, 60 points. Nobody cares. They're 1-9. You mentioned it. They're one of the worst in the nation. Even if Georgia wins this game by 1 point, they're not going anywhere out of the top 10. They're not moving anywhere, period. Even probably if they were to lose this game, they'd still be in the fucking playoff. Let's just be honest. I'm going to take Charlotte plus the 43.5 on the full game. I think it's just way too many points.
Yeah.
I just think it's too many points. You look at how bad Charlotte's been all year long. They haven't been able to score, but they also have not lost by 40 points. As crazy as that sounds, they have not lost by 40 points. You look at the teams that Georgia's played in terms of non-Power 5 teams, they have not performed. They struggled against Austin P. You know what Austin P is, Dave?
I know where that school was because it was close to my
There you
hometown.
go.
It
There
was
you
in
go.
Jackson, Tennessee.
So they played Austin P. They struggled against Austin P. They only finished that
So,
one 28-3, and I believe that was week 2 or 3 of the season when they're kind of getting ready, getting going. I'm with you. Give me Charlotte plus the 43.5. I think Georgia probably covers it that first half. That's a lot of points though. 24.5 is a lot to cover in a first half game, but I don't think there's any way they cover that 43.5. I think it's just too many.
all right. So I wanted to give a little shout out to my friends here, my Georgia friends. In that game last week, the Georgia Texas game, I want to talk about that for a second, and it was an anomaly for Kirby Smart. It was something quite different than what I've seen from him, at least for a few minutes during the game, and I thought it was quite interesting. Kirby's, rather conservative because he's got a good team. He can be that way. He can save his guys. He doesn't have to bash people. He doesn't give a shit about the spread or any of that stuff. But what you saw during that game in probably about a 5 to 10 minute stretch was you saw Kirby go for the gusto, so to speak, with his big nads on fourth down. He went for fourth down in his side of the field. Excuse me for that. It wasn't that far. I didn't use the terminology. But he was on his side of the field. He went for fourth down, right? And hell, it was like 6 or 7 yards. Got it. He went for fourth down again a few plays later. Got it. Then they scored a touchdown. After that, he had the audacity to freaking do an onside kick. And oh, by the way, it freaking worked. So, and that was just the, whatever you want to call it, thorn in the side, needle in the eye, knife in the back, whatever it was. But here's my theory, Mike, and what this has done to this Texas team. Last year, Kirby beat them twice. Yeah, and they went further in the playoff, right? And then they come out this year and they're 1 or 2 in the land. Oh my God, Texas is great. Now Kirby kicks their ass this past weekend and just obliterates their mojo, in my opinion. I think what he did on Saturday gets him 2 to 3 years of, oh shit, we've got to play Georgia again, and I don't think we can do it. So hats off to Kirby. I know a lot of folks around here love him. I think he's one of the best coaches, no doubt, right now in NCAA. And, he is my rival, but I respect what he did. And I feel like he just took a knife and drove it into Texas's back to last him a few years. So, my 2 cents. So,
I mean, I think he's hands down the best coach in the nation. There's no doubt about it. And Georgia would be foolish to think that anybody would do a better job at Georgia in that situation. I mean, he's a born and bled dog. There's nobody better for that position. So, no, he's not going anywhere. But yeah, it was probably good to see for Georgia fans to see him kind of go for the jugular and kind of put his foot on the throat of Texas. Because, I mean, let's be honest, Texas played Georgia tough up until that point when, Kirby got that onside kick and, that changed the entire momentum of the game. And from that point on, Georgia then put it on them. Texas didn't do a single thing the rest of the game, and they kind of self-imploded. But until that point, it was a ball game. I think it was 14-10.
Yep.
Before they had made that score and made that decision. It was a very ballsy play. It worked out for him. If it hadn't worked out for him, I'm sure he would have heard about it. But it did, and sometimes the risk gets the reward. So, but the biggest matchup of Georgia's season obviously is going to be next week. I mean, against Georgia Tech. That's a big decider in terms of momentum and in terms of what you just talked about. How Georgia, as you think that Texas win sort of gave them a couple years of just sort of dominance. Just when you show up, you kind of have that intimidation factor already. Oh shit, here we go. We're playing Georgia. We're gonna lose. I I think that's I don't think it's gone anywhere. I mean, Georgia is a consistent powerhouse, and when you play them, you're gonna feel it. Um, so I think they're a force to be reckoned with coming into this playoffs. If they're coming in hot, if they're coming in on a streak, if they're coming in doing to what they did to Texas to other teams down the stretch, if they do that to Georgia Tech next week, if they handle business in the SEC championship, if they play in the SEC championship, um, I mean those. You're right. Right now, these games are 100% on a bigger scale than some of these games in week 4 or week 5. Now the magnifying glass is full blown on these games and on these teams, so it'll definitely be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I mean, I think Georgia right now is on the biggest roll. Granted, Ohio State, Indiana haven't lost. Texas A&M hasn't lost, but we know the schedule of Texas A&M's played.
Well, yeah,
We know the schedule Indiana's played.
yeah.
So I think Georgia's on that trajectory to make a difference, and the improvement that we've seen. I mean, how many people were calling for Schumann? I'll call my son out, Ian, and he's calling for Schumann's head, calling for Bobo's head early in the year, and now this shit's for real, and these guys aren't playing, and I'm telling you, Georgia
Well,
Tech could be looking at a juggernaut coming at them that next week. So we'll see how it goes. It's pretty exciting, but I think they're on a pretty good trajectory right now in terms of the improvement. It's the most to me of any team as I look at this, college football playoff and who is on that big roll, who's got the hammer down. I mean, I'm telling you, I think Georgia has the hammer down right now.
well, you mentioned the coordinators, Bobo and Schumann. I mean, the thing is, and why that momentum is such a key factor, especially in college sports, it could easily revert. You could easily go right back to, things aren't working.
Fire him.
All right, let's go. Well, I'm thinking more about what the coordinators are thinking, like Mike Bobo. Mike Bobo loves a screen pass. I think he would marry a screen pass if he had the ability to. So I get that standpoint from the Georgia fans. You want to see them use the athletes that they got, spread the ball around, push it downfield, get the ball into the hands of your guys and make plays. And that's how Bobo looks at it, and that's why he runs so many screens, is because he's trying to get it into the hands of his guys to go. Because that offensive line hasn't also been what it's used to being at Georgia. They've been a little sketchy the last year or two in that offensive line room, and they haven't been the typical line that they've been used to in the past under a Stetson Bennett when he was behind center, for example. So that's another reason why they're doing a lot of these screen passes. But you mentioned the steps forward that they've taken. It would be interesting to know if Kirby Smart didn't hear some of that and kind of say, hey, we're going to be a little more aggressive. We're going to put our foot to the pedal a little bit more and be the initiator in these games and not let it come to us so much. Because you're right. The biggest thing for me is they've, in the first half, time and time again, we've talked about it for the last few years. I have faded Georgia in the first half consistently. And consistently, it works. I almost went back there to the well for this week, but I'm going to go with a full game. Now they're starting to perform in the first half. They're starting to get it going earlier in these games. They're not waiting until the second half waiting until they have to get going in order to get going. And you talk about their schedule this year, minus that 3-point loss at home to Bama earlier on in the year, Georgia's undefeated. And Georgia's number 1. And Ohio State is the number 2 team in the country. And everybody's saying how Georgia is back on top and the dynasty is relit. So I think they're a sleeping giant going into this playoff, especially if they go in at 6, where they're sitting right now. That's a scary sight for somebody who's matched up against them in the first round of the playoffs. You do not want to play Georgia round 1, needless to say. So, all right. Thank y'all for watching. On all our YouTube people, our podcast people, stick around. We got 4 more games for you here in a second. If you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and drop us a comment down there. Let us know you've been watching. Give us a like on the video. And make sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. All our podcast people, give us that 5-star rating. Make sure you follow us there as well. And sit tight. Check out shopcya.com if you have not already. Make sure to get those assets covered for when you go attend all these great sporting events and other venues of entertainment. Get those assets covered. Gator Dave, anything you want to leave with our YouTube show folks before we sign off and head to the podcast? I do want to
thank all the folks that came in the chat. You know, we appreciate you guys chatting it up with us. We shout out to Fresh Prince of PR. We haven't seen him in a minute. My gut tells me maybe who it is, but we chat later. Thanks for joining, Fresh Prince of PR. We appreciate you coming on. We appreciate all the folks being on and chatting it up with us. And please like, subscribe, tell your friends about us, man. We're having a great time here and do every week at 8 p.m. on Wednesday nights. We still got the rest of the season. Then we're going to have the bowls. Then we got the playoffs. We got plenty of time to talk it up. So looking forward to it. And some amazing games coming up this weekend and next weekend and rolling into the bowls and playoffs. So appreciate everybody being on. And go Gators.
Go Canes. Maybe we'll find a way to get in. I don't know. I'm still not sold.
The back door, baby.
I'm still not sold. We're about to. That's a good little lead in, Dave, because we're about to talk a little bit about these Canes in this Miami Virginia Tech game. That's one of our 4 podcast games. So we'll see. But thank y'all for watching, and we will catch you next week.